Morning, everyone. Well, it's been a while since I've been up here to say anything to anybody, and I tell you what, that's about the most beautiful bunch of people I have ever seen in my life.
You want my glasses?
Yeah. Well, you know, the pastor was talking about how his dad would correct him. But I can honestly say that I can only remember there were a few times when my dad corrected me. And I bet I'm probably the only person that anybody here would ever know that quit school in the first grade. We had a teacher. Her name was Leola Arthur. She beat kids every day. She had a club she beat them with. I don't know what the club was. I can't remember. It may have been a switch. But anyway, every day there were some kids beat. I was scared to death of that woman. Of course, she was a lot bigger than me, too. I was really little. And anyway, I told my dad and mom, I said, I'm not going to school. As long as she's there, I'm not going to school. And the first morning I was supposed to go to school. When I didn't, Dad got the belt out. I got a lacing on my butt. I didn't go to school. I don't know how many mornings that happened, but I wouldn't go to school. So I ended up staying home for the rest of the year. But the next year we had a different teacher, a great guy, and so I did make it through school finally. So anyway, our lesson today is about rebuke. And, you know, I guess I did not get angry at my dad whenever he whipped me, because I knew I deserved it, and I knew that what I was doing I should not be doing. And, you know, all the times after that, I really never had a problem with my father. Now, my father was not a loving man either. So I had 5 brothers and 2 sisters. And, you know, it was a big family, and we actually all got along pretty darn good. And anyway, Jonathan, okay, you got there. We start out on Proverbs 3:12. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father.
You go ahead and use your notes. That's old.
Yeah, even as a father and the son in whom he delighteth. Well, I don't know if my dad really delighted that much in me, but he did try to correct me. And he had no more problems after those. I don't know how many whippings I got, but it was a bunch. And, you know, whenever we give a rebuke to somebody, we have to understand who that person is. You know, if it would be my son, you know, I may rebuke him different than I would my daughter. And now the one that you really have problems with, for us men, is our wives. How do we rebuke our wives? Sometimes that may not even be a good idea. It never is a good idea. Now, can the wife rebuke us? Oh, every day. Every day it happens. You know. But you have to understand that the feelings that you're going to show whenever you do rebuke somebody, you don't want to do it in an angry way, and especially if you're dealing with little children or even your wife. If your wife does something that really she shouldn't have done, well, maybe you got the wrong wife. Yeah, but anyway, The child is going to remember the rebuke from the parents. And usually they're not going to be angry at him too long. Now, Pastor, did you stay angry at your dad very long after he paddled you or whatever he did?
Oh, for a while, I did.
Yeah, maybe a day or two, and then it just sort of went away. That's it. But what about a close friend? What if a close friend hurts you somehow
Amen.
and says something that was not correct? What do you do? Do you go behind his back and tell stories about him? No, you don't do that. You go to him and say, and Pastor, I'm going to use you as an example here. I say, Pastor, I heard that you were telling stories about me. Why did you do that? And, we're going to work it out. And the thing is that we have to realize that when we get through with this conversation, that, I don't hate him. I may be upset with him, and I want nothing but good things for him. And maybe he just had the wrong information. And he may say, oh, Jim, I am so sorry. I did not understand. Or I didn't mean for that kind of a story to get around. So we have to be really, really careful about that. And the truth and honest in communication better than hidden love. So we have to be truthful in our communication whenever we talk to somebody and try to get over something that has happened to us. And it's best to have it out in the open, have an open rebuke, and that way both parties can benefit from that. Jonathan, do you have Ephesians 4? You don't have it. Okay. Ephesians 4, 14 through 15, that we should no longer be children tossed to and fro and carry about with every wind of doctrine by the trickery of men in the cunning craftiness and deceitful plotting, but speaking the truth in love may grow up in all things unto him whom is the head, Christ. So we have to remember that when Christ, who was sacrificed on the cross, terrible, terrible, terrible way of dying, what did he say? Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And, sometimes whenever we rebuke somebody, maybe they didn't know what they were doing. Maybe they knew exactly what they were doing, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't wrong. So, and we also have to learn to get over that. Put it behind us, forget about it, and don't keep bringing it up to that individual or his friends or anything like that. We just talk about it, get it worked out, forgive, forget, and then maybe a hug. That's all I have here. Thank you very much.
What about this? Can you tell me the scriptures up that you have down? The one you have down, Proverbs 28.
28:3. He that rebuketh a man afterwards shall find more favor than the flattereth with the tongue. Well, that's an easy one there. Because if you rebuke somebody and come to a good conclusion of that, that's a lot better than going out and flattering somebody and saying things that, it may build somebody up, but it may not be true. And that's what flattery is maybe exaggeration on not knowing the truth. And say again?
Those other two scriptures.
Proverbs 25, 11, 12? Okay. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pictures of silver. And verse 12, as an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold, so is a wise reprover upon an obedient ear. Now, when we look at these verses, you know, jewelry is beautiful. Everybody loves gold and silver jewelry. I think everybody loves gold jewelry more. And you can imagine that this earring with gold and silver on it is hanging on somebody's ear. And maybe the person that is receiving the rebuking is obedient enough to listen to you, and with this, and it, you know, it brings to the, where is the earring? It's hanging on the ear, and he has to listen to it. And whenever he listens to it and it makes sense, then the job is done. Here is a wise man that has chosen the right words and the right time for the right reason, being very careful not to show anger, show caring and encouragement in the rebukement. When a rebuker rebukes someone, he needs to understand the difference in people, whether it be his wife, his husband, his child, his friend. We must understand the problem, be thoughtful and kind. We don't want the person to turn us off, but to listen intently and understand that we want to help. Amen. Very important. The person has to understand that last word, help. Some words are like daggers. Some words are like bludgeons. So we must choose our words wisely to explain and correct. We don't want to use words that's going to cut people. And, you know, sometimes maybe the belt that my dad used on me, maybe that was the best way to do it. I don't know. But he didn't use any daggers on me. He just said, Jimmy, you're going to school. I said, no, I'm not going to school. Smack, smack, smack.